Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a video here to talk about a topic that was kind of revealed yesterday, which was kind of surprising. It's a little bit of a game changer for a topic that I want to talk about here. Chris Stuckmann, the very famous movie YouTube reviewer, or movie reviewer on YouTube, however we're going to say that. I love the guy since I was a kid. I've watched him since around the time the A-Team came out, and I found Jeremy John's channel, then I found Chris Stuckmann about the same time, saw his rant on Dragon Ball Evolution, and have been watching him ever since. And in recent years, a lot of people agree he's kind of not what he used to be. I mean, he used to not be more than just a spoiler-free reviewer, and he kind of evolved into this, like most people, drained human being. That's what work does to you. And, I love Chris. I want to make sure that you understand by the things I'm going to say in this review that this is coming from someone who's been a fan for a long time and hates to see how drained and sad Chris seems to be nowadays. And I don't mean that as an insult. Chris was my go-to. Even though I loved Jeremy Johns and FlickPick and all of these other awesome reviewers, I went to Chris mainly for my kind of focus on reviews because I loved how he did it. And he was one of the big people who influenced me to want to do, reviews in general, not only on this channel, but in previous channels I've had for the last 10, 12 years, whatever it's been. And matter of fact, I still go back and watch playlists that people have compiled on YouTube of his A+, his B-, so on and so on. I watch all of them because I just miss how much fun he used to have. But anyway, he went to film school and he started working on this film that he and his wife, Sam Liz, who I also think is kind of talented, worked together to write, and he directed, called Shelby Oaks. And apparently it's tied to some kind of previous project, I'm not really sure, some kind of online video series of some sort. I think the originals were found footage movies. I don't think this is a found footage film. I think this is actual, like a linear shot movie, if you will. But it's called Shelby Oaks. Like I said, Keith David is in there somewhere. I don't know how long they can afford to have him in here because of the budget, but, I like Keith David a lot. I'm one of my favorite 80s actors. And no one really knows much about the film. We know it's in post-production, and last night it was announced, interestingly enough, when I was browsing Reddit, that Mike Flanagan, of all people, is now considered a producer on the movie. Now, Mike Flanagan, Chris has mentioned a lot in previous videos and stuff, if you keep up with his channel still today like I do, despite the disappointment. Mike Flanagan was being brought up a lot in his videos, and I kind of had wondered if they had had conversations and discussed things, because there were things that Chris would bring up that I didn't hear anybody mention in recent years that kind of made me wonder if somebody close to Mike or a friend of Mike's had mentioned it to him, or even Mike Flanagan himself, about Hush not being on Netflix anymore. Hush was a big deal when it came out. Everybody really loved that talked about it. And I follow a lot with the horror community. And a lot of people were really talking about that when that movie came out. The fact that no one had mentioned that around me, not on Reddit or anything, kind of surprised me that I hadn't heard about Hush not being on Netflix anymore. I assumed due to a licensing issue. By the way, it's on YouTube in case you want to go watch it. Great movie, really great film. But it's been announced that Mike is going to be a producer on Shelby Oaks now. And a lot of people were saying the same thing I was thinking. I thought it was in post-production. So there's a little bit of a worry for Chris, not so much for me, in the sense of how is Mike Flanagan going to be involved much aside from distribution or finishing up final VFX stuff that needed to be fixed or completed or whatever. Maybe Chris ran out of money. I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened there. But this is kind of a cool little behind-the-scenes thing that I don't think many people expected to happen. Mike Flanagan, of course, is a genius. He created the amazing remake TV miniseries, limited series, whatever, for Netflix for The Haunting of Hill House. I almost said the House of Return or some shit like that. Anyway, Mike Flanagan's a brilliant man. He really is. He's done a lot of great things in the horror community. I think a lot of people really like his work. I'm a big fan of him too, even though I haven't watched everything, including all these Netflix series he does. But the fact that he's in this project now is fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. That was the last resort of any kind of final note to this movie that I think anybody in the audience that wasn't tied into the movie expected to happen. I mean, maybe they're going to do some reshoots or something, I'm not really sure. I would be shocked if that was the case. I would be willing to bet Mike Flanagan's probably just going to be doing some other side stuff. I'm hoping that this movie is not going to turn into a Talk to Me, because I'm not a fan of Talk to Me. I talked about it in my review not too long ago. Not a poorly shot film. It's beautiful for the most part for what it looks like. The cinematography was good. It's the movie itself that's boring as hell. The concept is interesting, but it's kind of wasted and squandered in my opinion. But I'm hoping Shelby Oaks will be like a found footage film, but in a linear storytelling, you know? That's kind of impossible, but I hope it would be something like that. The film, despite it sounding kind of generic, I'm hoping Chris can do something special with it, and Sam Liz too, his wife. But Mike Flanagan being on board could do some really big, good things to this movie. And I don't know how often Mike Flanagan produces things too, so this seems kind of, to me, like a kind of rare occurrence for the most part. He's a very busy man, and you wouldn't expect him to be able to have the time to be as integrally involved in this movie. But I'm interested. I gotta be honest with you. This kind of makes me wonder about the film. I don't know how Chris met him or got him on the pole here to work on this movie, but it sounds kind of, I don't know, they piqued my interest a little bit more again. I was kind of just hoping Shelby Oaks would be good and that Chris could earn back some of the confidence that I think he used to have before YouTube or Twitter or something just destroyed the man. I don't know what it is. He just seems like an empty shell of what he used to be now, and I hate that because usually that means something is going on, and that's just the big-ass red flag, the equivalent of a guy asking a young woman if she has kids and then asking her out on a date if she says yes. It's interesting. So anyway, Chris Stuckmann, I wish you the best, man. I hope you're doing well. And Sam, I hope you're doing well too. I don't know them, obviously, but I just hope they're doing well. Mike Flanagan, I'm really interested to see what you're going to do with the movie. Working with Chris and kind of seeing what could happen. Could this be a possibility of future collaborations between these two guys? I would be very interested to see what would happen there. There's a chance, and I think that if Mike Flanagan's involved here, he must see something in this movie, which piques my interest, like I said. I don't know what could be going on with this. I'm very, very curious, and I think this film was supposed to come out this year. It's been due and delayed over and over again for a while, not just because of COVID either, but because of just rando things that have been happening for like the last year or two of them shooting this movie. So anyway, with all that being said, what do you think about Shelby Oaks? What do you think about this news with Mike Flanagan being involved? Do you think there's something interesting about this? Do you not really give a shit? I'd love to hear all that down below too. Guys, just remember, Chris Stuckmann is a human. Like, I've joked and laughed for years about the guy because he just seems like he is so, and I don't mean this to be a real insult because I love the guy, but he seems kind of shallow now, like a lot of the internet and a lot of YouTube. And it's a shame, but I miss what Chris was. People change over time. He is human, like I said. But there's a chance something cool could happen with this. I don't know. Anyway, Chris, Sam, Mike Flanagan, I'll be curious to see what you all do with this interesting little film that we haven't even gotten a trailer for, which kind of makes me wonder what's going on with that. You never know. It could be a bad movie. But if Mike Flanagan's involved, I don't know. The man has a reputation, so I kind of wonder if there's something that he's jumping in to help with. So anyway, I'm just curious to hear down in the comments section below what a lot of you have to say about this subject. It sounds interesting to me, and I want to know more. So whenever we get a trailer for Shelby Oaks or some more news, expect some more videos on that because I want to support the movie. I'm going to watch it legally, obviously, if I get a chance to, if it shows around me or goes to streaming or something. I'm surprised he's not signing off with like Netflix or something. But anyway, what do you guys think? Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all, and catch you later. Goodbye.